Hey, are you in the market for a new Hoyt target bow? How about one that's got a new cam, new limbs, new riser? Hoyt Concept X, we're gonna tell you all about it. Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery here in our video studio. Exciting day today where I get to tell you about the Hoyt Concept X. Brand new target bow from the folks at Hoyt. And this thing is nothing short of incredible. First, we'll start off by telling you there are three versions of the Concept X. There's two. There's the 37, which I have here, 37 inches axle to axle. Then there's a 40 as well. Concept X, those bows are gonna have your shoot-through riser. There's the Concept FX, which is a 34-inch axle to axle. That one is not a shoot-through riser. So those are the differences there, and I have been playing with the 37, so that's the one I'll talk to you about. The technologies are all the same, but the specs I'm going to give you will be relative to the Concept X37. Killer bow, as we mentioned, 37 inches axle to axle. It's going to have a 7-inch brace height, going to have a speed rating of 330 feet per second. We do a test to give you a speed rating. I have a 60-pound bow here. The speed rating's based off of 70 pounds. But anyway, you'll see that later in the video. But what's new and cool about this bow? So Steve Anderson from Hoyt, in talking with him, he mentioned that this is the first time in many years where Hoyt has come out with a new cam, limb, and riser limb pocket design. In the past, he said what he's done is, okay, they came out with a new cam, but they used an old limb. They came out with a new limb, but they came out with an old cam, that kind of thing. They kind of retrofitted parts. So this bow, they optimized everything to work together. So this limb is designed to work with this cam, which just makes things a lot more efficient. And what they found with these limbs is that they don't flex as much, which is going to give you a big string angle. So this 37 is going to shoot. It's going to feel like it's a lot bigger. Incidentally, the riser, this is the biggest riser that Hoyt has had on a target bow. It is 3 inches longer than its other bows of similar axle to axle measurements. And so if you've been, following along with target archery, man, the longer you make those risers, the nicer they aim. And what's more important in target archery than aiming these things? So that big riser just makes it aim. It holds on target beautifully. But let's go up here to the cam. So this is the Sector Cam. New cam, as we mentioned, from Hoyt. And what they did is there's kind of a hybrid system here. So there are actually two modules. And again, this is using the 37 for the specs. But this is the standard module that's going to come on this bow. And what it's going to do is you're going to be able to adjust draw length from 26 inches to 29 inches. That's going to hit the meat of, archers out there. That's going to cover most archers. But this bow will go down to 25 and up to 31 inches. To go from 25 and 25 and a half inches, there's going to be mods. Draw length specific mods. So there's going to be one for 25 inches. There's going to be another mod for 25 and a half inches. Then above 29, 29 and a half, 30, 30 and a half, 31. Those are going to be draw length specific mods, which I have on here for 30 inches. Now, what's cool is, if you've been following mod and cam design, a bow really hits peak efficiency with draw length specific mods. But what if you got to tweak it a little bit? Okay, I'm 30 inches, but what if I need just a little bit less or a little bit more? So every one of these spec mods is what they're called. Those are the draw length specific mods. You can adjust by 1/4 inch up and 1/4 inch down, except for 31. You're only going to be able to go down. You're not going to be able to go to 31 1/4. You'll only be able to go to 30 3/4. So just wanted to explain how those modular systems are going to work, that this bow will be able to cover, again, the 37, from 25 to 31 inches. How they get there are just different ways. But while we're talking about the modules, let's take a look at this thing here. So right here, you can see I've got my screw. That is to change my let off from 65, 70, 75%. Just slide that to get it the way I want. So this is my top mod and this is my bottom mod. And what I can do is this device right here, you're gonna see two arrows. So I can swap this device, in other words, take the screw out here, take this one and move it to my bottom mod, take this one and move it to my top mod. And what I'm doing, essentially without taking it apart, is I'm flipping over this piece. And that's going to give you two different feels. In its current position, it's going to be like a hard stop at the back wall, and flipped over, it'll be a little bit of a softer feel. It'll have a little bit more give to it. If you like that in your shot process, some folks like, you know, a super solid back wall, they're going to put it in the hard position. Other folks like a little more give, they're going to put it in the soft position. Because it's not a limb stop, it's coming around and contacting the cable, so there is some give there. But again, just allows you to make those adjustments to get this cam to feel the way that you want to. The limbs, as we mentioned, these are new limbs, the TXL limbs from Hoyt. They're a little bit wider than they've been using in the past. Wider limbs, you know, that just makes them more stable. What Hoyt has found is that torsional stability has been firmed up. So in other words, you're not going to get as much side-to-side flexing with these limbs. And again, you know, they work in conjunction with that new cam. So awesome system they've got there. Of course, in order to handle that, they beefed up the limb pocket as well. Before we move down the bow, going back up to the cams here, so for tuning purposes, Hoyt does have a spacer system that they use. In other words, you're going to replace spacers. They have a series of matched sets that will allow you to move the cam left and right. You just pop the axle out, move these spacers, and then you can adjust your cam left and right. The axles, 1/4 inch axles. Hoyt heard you folks loud and clear about that. They have gone to the beefier 1/4 inch axles. So the Concept X has those bigger axles. That is great for performance. Now we'll start coming down the bow. You know, as we mentioned, shoot through riser. Hoyt's been doing that for several years. That just makes this thing super rigid. You know, the longer that you go, you really have to build some rigidity in there so you don't start getting flex in it. Well, with that shoot through design, I mean, this thing is as rigid as it gets. So in the riser design, if you are familiar with the Stratus, as we mentioned, this riser is longer, but it is gonna be about a 1/4 pound lighter. So 1/4 pound might not seem like a lot, but remember, you're making the riser longer. What I noticed between this and the Stratus is the Stratus just felt real bulky, that riser. And you're gonna notice here, this is a lot more slender. In other words, your profile this way. In between all the cutouts, it's thinner, and that's where Hoyt was able to make some weight savings. I certainly noticed the weight difference. The Stratus for me after a while started to feel a bit heavy. Even though this one's only a 1/4 pound, it doesn't feel as heavy as I think the Stratus did. So just a little bit difference there in that riser design. You will have standard mounts on the side for your sight. Coming down for rest options, I have a bolt-on rest here. There are 2 holes in the burger position, so you can put 2 bolts in if your rest has room for it. So you can lock that rest down. On the back, there is also the integrate style dovetail so that you can put an integrate rest on there as well. Grips. So this does have Hoyt's modular grip system in the pack. Right now I have the skinniest grip on there. I'll turn that so you can see it. It is the black material. And then in the pack, you are going to get 5 other grips, and you can see how they get thicker as you go down. By thicker, I mean at the bottom. So what that's doing is pushing the heel of your hand away. So you've got options that you'll get in the box with the bow to get that grip the way that you want it. Of course, still has Hoyt's Tech Riser, where you have this bridge back behind the grip there. Hoyt's been doing that forever. Again, stability, rigidity into the riser, that's what we want. We don't want flexing in the riser as target archers or bow hunters. And then you're gonna have 2 stabilizer mounts in the front. You're gonna have the normal one here right under the grip, and then you're gonna get the lower one as well. And we've got 1 mounting option in the back. That's a standard position for your side rod, or you can just, run your side rod off the front, which I have here. So these limbs, the TXL limbs that we were talking about, this is the shortest limb that Hoyt has ever made for a target bow. And again, that has to do with stability and efficiency. And as we mentioned, they don't flex much from resting position to full draw. Shorten them up. Just when you do that, it just makes the whole system more stable. The string tension is at a higher poundage. That keeps it on track, keeps it going straight forward when you release it, as opposed to, having some crazy movement of the string. Keep that string tension high, and then it's gonna pop back into place where it should be. And one of the things that Hoyt found in their testing is that this is one of the quietest target bows that they've had. And I can say that that was one of the things I noticed when I shot it. It was quiet in noise as well as in vibration. Just didn't make much noise, and I didn't feel much at the shot. You still got some feedback. I like that feedback. These limbs, I wouldn't say they're vertical, but I wouldn't say they're parallel either, kind of in between. And so I like that feedback when you release the string, that the bow kind of moves forward. I can feel that in my hand. It's not jumping out of my hand, but I can feel it. I just like that, to get some feedback. That way I can tell if I'm doing something wrong. If the bow just sits there and my arrow goes off, goes left or right or whatever, I'm not really sure what I did. But when you get a little feedback, you can tell what's happening there with the bow. The Concept X bows, they are gonna come with Hoyt's WireWRX String system. This is a newer string system that Hoyt has been making. They build them themselves. All the issues with strings are well known. Are they gonna stretch as soon as you get the bow? How much are they gonna stretch? Is the cam gonna come out of time? All those problems. With the WireWRX, these are quality strings that Hoyt is building to eliminate a lot of those problems. And I can tell you the end loops are served. They're not loose end loops. That's always nice for working. If you have to pop off a cable to twist it or something like that, I just think it's nicer if the end loops are served. On this bow anyway, the loops are clean. Everything looks clean with those WireWRX strings. All right, so that's the nuts and bolts of the Concept X. Now what we're gonna do, you see it all built together here. Of course, when I got it, it was in the box with none of this stuff on. We are going to set it up, we're gonna tune it, and we're gonna take it outside. We've got a little special ASA style 3D challenge that we're gonna do as I talk about what it's like to shoot the Hoyt Concept X37. All right, so we got our Hoyt Concept X37. We're gonna build this out as a target 3D bow. We're gonna set it up with some accessories. Then we got a little special challenge, a 3D challenge. So all the target accessories we're gonna put on here are gonna be geared towards a 3D target. And the first thing I have to do here is, so with this new SCTR Cam, The unique thing is that Hoyt addresses different draw lengths in a unique way. So there's going to be a rotating module on there that's going to take you from 26 to 29 inches. That's going to cover most archers, so Hoyt has that rotating module for that. Now, this bow also will go down to 25 inches, so at 25, 25 and a half, and then it's going to go up to 31. So from 29 and a half to 31, for those other draw lengths outside of that 26 to 29, you're going to need what they call the spec mod. CDM mod is what's going to be on here. That's going to be the rotating one. Spec mod, those are going to be draw length specific. I'm at 30 inches, so I'm going to go with spec mod C to get this bow to 30 inches. Flip. All right, next up, we're going to get our D-loop and set our center shot. Nice. Now we're gonna check the cam timing. Bottom one's hitting a little early. All right, peep sight. All right, let's go out and see if we can get a hole through paper. All right, so we're gonna get our paper tune here. I've got my Ultra Arrows 23 diameter, and before people say, hey, you never put a clarifier or aperture in there. No, I did not put anything in my peep sight yet. I'll do that once I start aiming and see what I need in my peep sight. So yes, I did not forget that. I'll get to it. First, we're gonna paper tune. Bullet hole, first shot. That right there is about as good as I can do. Perfect shot. All right, we're gonna do our speed test here. First, we're gonna get our draw weight. So the speed rating, first off, is based off of 70 pounds, 30-inch draw, 350 grain arrow. This is a 60-pound max bow. We'll see what the actual draw weight is to begin with. So I can't get to that spec anyway, because it's a max 60 pounds, but we'll shoot it anyway to see what kind of reference we can get. $61.4 pounds at 14.8 holding weight. I do have it set at 75% let off. But again, as I mentioned, 61 pounds, the spec is based off of 70, but I still have my 350 grain arrow. This is our standard one we use for doing speed tests. We'll see what it tells us. A lot of you out there who are better at math than me, I know you'll be able to figure out what I get here. You can extrapolate that to 70 pounds. I cannot. All right, 301.4. Again, that's at 61 pounds with a 350 grain arrow. I still think that's pretty fast. All right, so here we are outside with the Hoyt Concept X. So you saw me build it and tune it yesterday. So what I did last night was I went home and got a sight tape for it. So as I mentioned, you know, this is the Concept X37. For me, this is ideal for a 3D bow. And you know, we don't want to let summer go away, so we decided to come out and do an ASA Finals 3D type challenge here. We've got 3 targets that we picked up. It's on an open field, so it's like the finals field. I'm gonna shoot them known distance. Sorry, Levi. So we're gonna go out here and shoot this course and see how the Hoyt Concept X does. All right, so target one, we got the Bobcat, 44.8 yards. That's 45 for me. All right, here we go. The Bobcat. I guess since we're on the finals field, 14s are in play, but I'm gonna be honest, if I'm gonna shoot the 14, it's gonna be the last one. All right, here we go. Oh, it's a 10. I forgot to call upper, but I was aiming at upper, but I didn't hit it. It's right underneath it. But first thoughts on the Concept X. This is the 37. So I was a big fan of the Stratus, but what I noticed is after shooting it for a while, to me it started to feel like it was a really big bow, like that riser was really big. I don't feel that with this bow. And you know, as we mentioned before, this is a new cam, this is a new limb, new riser. This is the first time in many, many years that Hoyt has designed all three together. And so I'm super excited about this bow as a target bow because this bow works for me. And I'll say going back, you know, 5, 6, 7 years, Hoyt target bows, they're great bows. You can't say that they're not great bows. But for me, they were a little bit aggressive. I've got this one at 75% let off. You know, as we saw yesterday, it was at like 61 pounds. It's a 60-pound max. The draw cycle's nice. It holds back at full draw. My issue with Hoyt's was it was always felt to me like if I came up a little bit, it was gonna pull me forward. I don't feel that with this. And this thing aims awesome. Let's see if we can keep it going. All right, here we go. Target 2, the Coyote. It is 36.2. I always say that's 36-ish. Christopher Perkins gets on me for that. He says 36.2. I don't know if I can tell what 0.2 is. All right, but Coyote. Smaller target. Oh, upper. Called it this time. Oh, that's a 8-10 line right. I was trying to get it, but just missed it. All right, here we go. The Howling Wolf, my arch nemesis. I never shoot this one well. 49 yards. Woo. And since I don't have any 12s, we're gonna say that this is to win it all. I need a bonus ring to break the tie and win the championship. I'm going to channel my inner known pro Hoyt shooter. Who do we got? Steve Anderson, Robert Householder, Jesse Broadwater. I'm gonna channel one of them. I'm gonna try and hit that 14 at 49 yards on a target that I don't shoot well anyway. Here we go. This is to win the ASA Classic. 14, I win. 8 or 5, I'm off the podium, no money. Oh, I think I'm just right of it. 5. My line was good. I pushed it just a little bit to the right. So, but Concept X from Hoyt. Smooth shooting bow. Yeah, we should mention here, If you don't like distractions in archery, this is not the place to be shooting right now. There is so much going on. I can't even hear myself talk. But Concept X. So real smooth shooting bow. You know, with a target bow, oftentimes I expect a lot of feedback at the shot. By feedback, I mean some vibration, especially you got these limbs, you know, they're definitely not parallel. There's a little bit of vertical to them. The more vertical they get, the more hand shock you feel. I don't really feel much hand shock with this. And it just, like I said, it just sits right where I want it. You know, I can't shoot, that's not the bow's fault. But the arrow flight's the other thing I noticed. Man, my arrow flight is beautiful out of this bow. It just does everything that I like in a target bow. And as I said, if I'm going historically, I'm gonna say historically, I don't shoot Hoyt target bows well, but this one, I've just been loving it. I've only had it for 2 days. But let's go down and score these targets, add them up, see how I did. All right, here we go. Target number 1, Scott Parrott's holding up that 10. Got a 10 on the 45-yard Bobcat. All right, target number 2, it's close. That's 10 on the Coyote, 36-yard Coyote. All right, target 3, I lost the Classic. Straight to the right. Look at that, one of my fingers width. 49-yard Howling Wolf. Didn't make it, lost the Classic. All right, that is the Hoyt Concept X37. Great new target bow from the folks at Hoyt. Look for this one in the competition this year. I think we're gonna see some of the great target archers doing a lot of great things with this bow. Mikey Schlosser, world #1, watch him. I think he's gonna kill it with this bow. So the Concept X Hoyt target bows, we are able to carry these on our website. So if you want to see the different options of this bow, colors, draw weights, the different lengths, etc., Concept FX, the X40, click the link in the description below. That'll take you to what we have available online. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. And as always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at LancasterArchery.com.